Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wild&Wingless here. Today I've got myself Ryan Broome. How are you, Broomey?
Very well, mate. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Nah, anytime. So, if your brother's the donkey, what's your nickname?
Haven't actually got one set in stone yet, but yeah, trying to work on something that rolls off the tongue pretty well. I obviously went with a blue paint scheme, so they back down in Mount Gambier, they got a new art infrastructure there, a big blue echidna. So they've been calling me the blue blob, but I don't really want that one to stick. I
No,
don't think.
you shouldn't have said that here, but okay,
No,
we'll forget we
no.
knew that one. All right, man. Look, hey, sort of been following your brother's career over the last couple of years. Obviously when you came into the sport, I knew who you were before you sort of stepped in, and then I had that good time running into you at Mildura at the end of last year. You almost got your brother into a fight over that one.
I
Um,
did, yes.
but you haven't been around for very long. But what's your story since you've been around? Like, how did you get into wingless racing?
Probably, yeah. Well, this will probably a lot of it will stem back to Mitchell, I suppose. But yeah, obviously growing up, raced bitumen carts with Mitch. I was a little bit younger than him, so got into it probably 6 months to a year later. Did that till we were about 13. Obviously, Mitch went and continued on the racing path while I got a bit heavy, so I went to ball sports, went and played baseball, moved away to Adelaide, and then yeah, obviously been living in Adelaide for 7 or 8 years now, and yeah, just went back in for a promotions day at our local club at Borderline Speedway and had to go in Mitch's car. I've driven it previously before. Me and Kirby Hillier drove his back in the day. It rained that morning, so it wasn't exactly enjoyable, but yeah, had to go in his on promotions day and actually had a blast. I had a really good time. It was fun actually having a crack in it. Yeah, and then obviously I've always had intentions to move back to Mount Gambier, close to the family. So I kind of pitched to Broomey that, yeah, like, what do you reckon about me buying one, and then obviously doing 1 year with me in Adelaide and all the whole setups down in Mount Gambier. So I'm just fly out at the moment. But yeah, he was pretty keen to take on that role, running two cars. So we pulled the trigger on that, and then yeah, here we are.
Yeah, right. So that's happened. So what about you? What about? Sorry, mate. My dog's a bit excited there. What about your actual racing experience, Buck? Because you've had a bit of karting in the before then.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So I can't remember what age we were when we started racing. It would have been probably, I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what age you get into it. Maybe 7 or 8, maybe, I don't know. So we probably did 4 or 5 years of that. We were always around the mark, pretty handy until you go to the bigger meetings. There's obviously people more talented, spending more money than you. But like at a club show, yeah, level, we're always pretty handy in a bitumen cart until obviously, yeah, wasn't exactly an athlete. I got a little bit chubby, so and then I had to wait to go up a grade. So yeah, I was just praying for rain every weekend, really, which
yes,
because I went pretty handy when it got
yes,
wet, but as soon as it got dry, we were at the back of the pack again. But yeah, obviously spent 4 or 5 years back in the day. We were kicking around with the Walshes, Carly and Blake, and then the Storer brothers, and then obviously Kirby. We've been racing with Kirby since we started. So yeah, obviously it's all just been bitumen carts, and then yeah, I haven't really driven anything from that. Probably about the age of 12, 13 until now 27. So yeah, it's all a little bit foreign, and obviously never driven on dirt either. So it's definitely a foreign experience compared to driving on a bitumen cart. But yeah, it's slowly getting used to it, I think. But yeah, baby steps.
yeah. Nice. All right. So what is it about the wingless you enjoy the most?
Oh, it's obviously good fun. Like it's that adrenaline hit that you don't really get doing anything else. Like you can play ball sports, you can do anything, but like once you strap into the car itself, like and get out there rubbing wheels, like it's just an adrenaline hit like no other. But honestly, like aside from that, I'm actually enjoying the social aspect of it. Like obviously being in Adelaide and traveling down to travel with family. Even back in the bitumen car days, like we would always meet up with the Hillier family, like outside a go kart track to travel. So I was always traveling with them. Yeah, obviously Mitch, mum, dad, like we're all a close knit family, like doing all that, and then Crowy as well. Crowy's been with us, yeah, since day dot. He did the bitumen carts with us. He's done the wingless all through for Mitch, and he's still doing it with us now. So without him, we couldn't really do any of it because dad wouldn't be able to do two cars by himself. But yeah, just honestly, the social side of it at the moment, like just being back with family, is probably the big hit for me. But obviously, one day, if the success starts to come, I'll probably couldn't care less about the social side of it. I'll be looking for results. But at the moment, mate, like, I'll honestly sit here scratching my skin looking forward to going racing because you just get to catch up with people that honestly haven't seen very frequently for years and catching up. Like me and Tyson Martin, like we've been family friends since we were babies. Like now catching up, seeing him like twice a month, like all these sort of things, meeting his fiance, meeting everyone's families. Like it's just it's just a good environment to be around, honestly. Like, you can talk to anyone, like, apart from you having a crack at me the first time we met, like, everyone else has been pretty nice to me.
I got to tell everyone. So I rocked up to Mildura for the state title last year in November, and I'm in a ute with my mate Graham Thomas, and we pulled up alongside Tyson Martin. You were with him, and I
Yeah.
didn't realise who it was, and I just saw Tyson Martin. I see this other guy. I'm thinking, oh, there's Mitch, and you're just you're looking at me, and that's it. I'm thinking, what the hell? Anyway, I'm like, screw him. Anyway, we drive off to get to the gate, whatnot, and then afterwards, I think that's when yeah, I was ready to go over and actually give him a serve. Like, what are you snobbing me for at the gate? And then Tyson Martin comes over and goes, hey, you do know who this is, don't you? I'm like, yeah, isn't it Mitch? And he goes, no, it's Ryan. I went, oh! And that's when I realised Mitch has got the cop moustache, you got the beard.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen him. I didn't realise.
Obviously, I knew who you were. Like, I'd seen your face around a bit, but obviously we were never like.
No, we've never spoken. So you're like, what are you doing looking at me like this?
You and Tyson were in full depth conversation, and I'm just sitting there listening in, and then I just copped a little backhanded spray from him. I said, "Well, you're too good to talk to me now," or something. And I walked off a bit rattled, and I go to Tyson. I go, "Does Andrew know that I'm not Mitchell?" Like he's just full of like had a dig at me. And
oh, jeez.
I said to you, you go over to Mitchell and just give him a spray, and
yeah,
you'll have no idea what's going on.
He had no idea. That was rather embarrassing. So yeah, sorry about that. That was funny, but I do like that. But yeah, you remind me. Yeah. Anyway, my bad. But
apart from that, everyone else has been superstars.
So just me has been the only problem, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it's just you. It's the only one I got beef with.
There we go. Nice. No, but it's true. I mean, like that's one thing I picked up when I spoke with your brother. That's one thing with you, like your mum, your dad, and I speak with the Helliers is this close connection between everybody. When you guys go racing, and it's so good and it's awesome to see. And like you even mentioned, like the Walshes, for example. Like how cool is it that you got like a family from Cobden down there, and then everyone knows it, and you're welcome. Like if you're passing through, whatnot, give them a call. You can pull up there for the night. You know, whatever the case may be. It's just a fantastic big family to be a part of. Really,
it is. It virtually is an extension of family. Like every Christmas, we have the whole Hillier family over at our place for dinner every year. It's just honestly a big family. The first, like I hadn't seen the Walsh family probably for 5 or 6 years, honestly, when I first started racing. And the first time I saw Freddie, like we just hit it off like we'd seen each other yesterday. Like I don't know. It's just a close knit group. Like you don't have to be really close friends, but as soon as you're in that environment, everyone's on the same page and everyone's friendly. And yeah, there's no real awkwardness. Like other sports you go to, some people hate someone or you don't like your teammates, whereas I'm not at that phase yet, but I haven't had anyone take me out, or I haven't taken anyone out yet, I don't think, apart from Mitchell. So
are we going to talk about that?
I don't really have a choice. I kind of have to like that bloke. So
I think that was good. All right, what's been your highlight of the season?
The highlight, well, obviously my first A main that I made was the state title at Mildura, but that was kind of, if you looked at the infield in that B main, like if there was a C main, I would have been in it. I started that far buried back in that B main. But there was obviously a lot of incidents, everything. I finished, I think, 5th, and then someone got put back a spot. So I kind of inherited that one, and I didn't really know I was going in. I was half out of my suit, and then they called me up. So that's obviously a highlight, being your first feature, and obviously against the best in South Australia and the best in Victoria. Like the best Victoria drivers were there. There's a few from Sydney as well. Like all the big dogs were there. So that was probably the first time I honestly drove out there like nervous. Like I don't really get nervous, but I drove out and I'm just looking around like these guys were the best in the country, and it kind of felt like a very small fish in a big pond. But apart from that, probably round 2 of the SummerSlam, we went to Lang. I had a really good night there. Had a 2nd and a 4th or 5th in my heats and qualified straight into the A main out of 10th. So obviously SummerSlam, I think it was 60 to 65 of the best cars in the country to go straight into an A main there. And I think it was like my 7th meeting. That was I was pretty hyped for that one. And then obviously we had back-to-back nights of the SA State Series a couple of weeks ago. That's obviously, there was a couple of the best boys from Victoria were there. All the best from SA were there. I made the show both nights in that, it obviously doesn't sound like much, but being a bloke that's only been doing it for 4 or 5 months, it was a pretty cool feat to be able to do that both nights. But that's probably, in a very short career, there's not many highlights
No,
currently, but yeah,
I
that's
beg to
baby
differ, man.
steps at the
I
moment.
think you've been doing really well. I've been keeping an eye on you since you came in, because you got to remember, like sometimes people when they come in like that, especially if they've got brothers, siblings, that sort of stuff in the sport already, they either come in with almost, and I've got some other questions I want to ask you later, so I don't want to go too much on this, but it's like they come in and they feel they have to prove, or if my brother's a race winner, or in your case, state champion, like
Yeah.
um, I've got to be that good, or if not better, and they just come in sort of a bit above their heads and cause a lot of ruckus and a lot of damage. But I think you've been driving really well. Every time I've seen you come through on Clay View, I do watch the races. You all got that one time with you and your brother getting very close there, but I think the next morning photo of you two on the couch was quite funny. I really did enjoy that. But man, I think you're doing a ripper job. Just keep head down and just keep working forward. Your dad's obviously in your corner; he knows what he's doing, so
Yeah,
you'll be
and
right.
it'll definitely vouch for it. I think, yeah, like you said, obviously Mitch is a dual state title winner, best mates with Kirby, who's probably in the upper echelon of the sport at the moment. Really good friends with Tyson Martin, do a lot of traveling with Tyson, who's obviously the Australian champion at the moment. And we've obviously got a group chat, just us four of them, and like those boys just absolutely give it to me, like absolutely, really. Like, it's yeah, obviously probably fast track the development a little bit, but like they've kind of got a competition at the moment. Like none of them want to be the first one to get beaten by me, because
Right.
it'll just hang over their head for the rest of their lives, I reckon. But yeah, obviously them just yeah, calling me a bit of a softie and a bit of a baby for not having a crack early days probably forced me into having a bit more of a crack. But yeah, like you said, probably definitely put a bit too much pressure on myself early for sure.
Yeah, I think you've worn it well. So, out of all the tracks you've gone to, which one would you say is your favourite at the moment? Which one do you enjoy going to the most?
Obviously, like home, like borderline speedway, I love that place now, especially now that I've been out the corners. There's a lot more room to move. Obviously, I haven't really been to any tracks multiple times to like one more than the other. I thought I would really not like Lang, but that might
That's
just be because I had a little bit of
that's pretty
success there.
cool.
Like
Yeah.
I actually found that Lang brings out not the best, but like I feel like it's not just who's got the biggest kahunas and not holding their foot flat. Like it's
Yep.
there's actually a lot of racing and craft to it. I found like it's not just like I said, I went there to Lang, and then the next night I went to Warrnambool, where it's who's got the kahunas to just hold their foot flat. And
Yep.
I'm not at that stage yet where I can just hold it pin banging the fence down for 30 laps. So that brought me back to earth a little bit, but like yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just love going racing. I'm at that point in my career. I don't have a favourite track. Obviously, home's nice being around the corner, but yeah, I don't really have a specific favourite at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Now you mentioned before, like when you first started. What's if you could? What's one bit of advice if you could go back in time when you first started? What's one bit of advice you'd like to give yourself when you first started?
Probably stems back to the whole pressure factor. Like if you speak to Mitchell, you speak to Dad. Like I was ridiculously hard on myself. Like our opening night at Murray Bridge, I probably didn't realise how many people DNF their heats. Like I started out a fifth in the B main and thought, oh, like this is easy. I only got to pass one car here to make the show in your first night, and then obviously we went to Geelong, which was a rain out, and I was no good there, like horrible. And then went back to Murray Bridge, where the track was a bit probably one laned, and went slick very early on, just due to the heat. Like it was just very one laned, and like it was no good there either. And I actually got asked to do a fourth meeting off the rear, which like to anyone else, like that's just warranted. Like that's just what they're doing. Like it's
Yeah.
just it wasn't probably anything I was doing. It was just probably if, for example, if I go to the next meeting and pull pill one, like would everyone feel safe me starting on pole,
Yep.
not holding it like foot to the floor while everyone else was? So I had no problem with that, but I think it just probably deflated me a little bit. So it's probably yeah, like I said, just the pressure thing. But I yeah, like I said, with obviously the success all the people around me have had, probably not everyone's in that situation. So it's yeah, like I said, it's just the pressure thing, and probably just have fun. Like a lot of people say, learning to drive a sprint car could be a 4 to 5 year apprenticeship. So
Yep.
obviously, yeah, you're not going as quick in a wingless, but I still think there's just as much craft to it. And
Bingo. Yep.
yeah, so I've still got another couple of years before I get half decent, apparently. So
I think you're doing all
we'll
right,
keep
mate.
digging away.
I think you're doing
We'll
all right.
keep digging away.
Well, here's something for you. Now, forget about the pressure, but from sitting on the sidelines watching to actually hopping in and driving them, what was one of the biggest things that sort of you didn't expect or caught you off guard? Or
Probably how fast you feel like you're going.
yep.
and how physically demanding it is. Like, obviously, Dad's always said to Mitchell, like, me and Mitchell are obviously big boys, we're 6'1", 6'2", 120 kilos. Like, we're not athletes. And Dad's always harped on about, like, race fitness. And Mum's always said it, like, Mitch, you got to get race fit, like, rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, what's race fitness? I'm like, you're sitting in a car steering a car. Like, what is race fitness? And I remember the first night I did an 8-lap heat. I came in like dripping with sweat. Like, it was
Really?
disgusting. It wasn't a good look. But like, I think, yeah, like I said, it feels like you're in a fighter pilot plane. Like, you feel like you are genuinely flying. And then you come in and watch a video and you go, holy, like, I'm not really going that quick at all. Like, imagine these 410 sprint car dudes, like, full tilt.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably just how physically demanding it is. I think, like, we went to Warrnambool for the season opener, and that feature, like, I obviously didn't make the feature, and all the boys were banging the fence down, and I watched, like, Blake, Travis, like, Chris Temby, those three boys. They looked like they were like half an inch from the fence with their right rear, and they were just driving around one-handed. Felt like they could have had a cup of tea with their right hand. Like, they were so smooth. Like, it's just, I feel like I'm in there, like, left, right, like, all over the place. So I think just from the bank, if you haven't experienced it, like I said, you just, like, you don't realize how quick you feel like you're going and how physically demanding it is. So kind of took that for granted, I think, a little bit, and now I've had to do a little bit of fitness because, like I said, like, we did that Lang feature, and halfway through I was knackered, and we still
Really?
have 15 laps to go, and it's. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing, I
I,
reckon.
I reckon, yeah, you raised a good point. No one's brought this up, and I haven't asked these. These are like some other questions I started thinking because I've been speaking to people who watch the sport, and they're like, oh, what happens here? And so I thought, oh, that's a good question. I'll start asking the drivers. Um, but yeah, like when we sit there on the hill and we're watching our cars go past, and we're seeing them hitting the ruts, and they're with the shocks and the bars, everything looks like it's just a nice sort of boat motion, if you know what I mean, like an
Yeah,
old HQ or something like that, just sort of floating along. When
yeah.
clearly it mustn't be the case.
No, and like, for example, we went to, obviously you were there at the state title in Mildura. I think we went out, like, first heat track was unreal. Second heat, I don't know if they had sedans there or something, but it was like a little bit choppy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're driving around the roller ads. I'm sitting there like bouncing up and down. I look up at Dad, and I'm sitting there going, like, mate, like, this thing's choppy as anything.
Yeah.
Come in, he goes, mate, you're in for a rude shock. Like, that's not rough. I was
Oh, really?
oh, okay. So, like, I think I started third. I drove into, like, turn one, and I think, like, just naturally coming from a bitchman background, you think, like, oh, what's stopping you from, like, digging in and just flipping over? So I've kind of babied it in, and I reckon 7 dudes turn one just had it pinned, like, around the outside of me. And by the time I was 2 laps in, I was already last, and before I clicked, and then went out for the third heat, and I thought I was on a motorbike track. Like, I was like, this is nothing compared to what I thought heat 2 was. Like, this is next level. So it's yeah, it is. Yeah, it's definitely physically demanding, but it's like a different physically demanding. It's not like going for a 5K run. It's just something's always moving and muscles always engaged. Like, obviously you got people in front of you, got to be ready to use your brakes. Obviously, me being a bit bigger, smaller people have probably got a bit more luxury with leg room and stuff. Whereas I've got to move my feet around to use brakes and stuff. Being a bit taller and fatter, it's not a pleasant experience sometimes. It's pretty uncomfortable.
No, but you raised a good point there because I remember years ago I had a run of a legend car. Oh, the old boy's upset about someone. And I remember I hooked into a corner and the body roll. I was like, what? And
Yeah,
coming from tar racing, we even in tar cars we wouldn't get that much,
yeah,
and it just shocked me to the bejesus. And I know there's sometimes like Tyson in at Canberra will float the car up on 2 wheels, and everyone's like, oh, he's going over. And then like I talk to him, and he'll go, oh no, that was under control. I knew what I was doing. I'm
yeah,
thinking, dude, like you were up. Like,
yeah.
what does it
It's
feel inside the car? Like, as you said, come from a tar, karting, everything rigid, stiff, then driving this thing. That must be putting you off.
it is a little bit, and it's just now that you get used to it, it's a lot easier because you know it's coming. But like, honestly, I haven't been to that many tracks. Like, that state title is probably the roughest track I've been to. Like,
Yeah,
I've never
right.
really been anywhere else where it's been bucketing down all week and hooked up and starts getting ruddy and it's like really cowboy up. Like, I haven't had that yet, so it's like, it's just a bit of a different feeling. Like, there was one night at Borderline, I think I went into turn one, and it was one of the first nights, like, I realized you can actually just hold your foot flat sometimes. And like, I felt like I was like sitting up over the right rear wheel. And I was like, is my front left wheel like half a meter off the air? But then you come in and watch a video and it's not. Like, that's just the shocks doing what they're
Yep.
designed to do. Whereas you're just not used to that. Like, when you're in a bitchman car, you sit there and you just plant it, all 4
Yeah.
wheels on the ground. You just, yeah, you won with the pavement, whereas it's just a little bit more bouncing around, and it's something you got to get used to, I suppose.
Yeah, no, interesting. Thanks for I always wanted to ask that. So yeah, thanks for shedding some light there. Who would you have to say is one of the competitors that you just have to beat? Who's that one person you just want to beat?
Oh, it's a hard question at the moment because there's not really that many you beat, and I don't really. Obviously, I'm going to say Mitchell. Like I'd give me left leg to beat Mitchell every time we went out there. But unfortunately, he's probably one of the best getting around at the moment, consistency wise. He obviously hasn't had the actual success itself with winning features probably in the last 12 months. But like just consistently, obviously he's my brother. I'd love to beat Kirby. I'd love to beat Tyson, but we're probably going to be sitting here for. You'll probably be able to ask me in 3 years' time, and I still won't have done it.
Oh,
So
I reckon you will. I reckon you
I'll
will.
pick one of them at some point, I hope.
Yep.
But yeah, it's there's no one really that I go out there and think I have to beat. Obviously, the main game's to beat everyone, but I'm kind of in the phase at the moment where I want to pack everything up straight in one piece, and I don't want to be known as the bloke that feeds right rears either. Like
Yeah.
it's I'm in my nice guy era at the moment, and I was in it in go karts when I was a young age, and then you get a couple years in, and then you start getting the elbows up, and you don't really care what people think of you.
Yep.
So eventually that will happen, and I'll probably rub a lot of people the wrong way, and people won't like me. But at the moment, I like walking through the pits and getting a smile and a wave and a how you doing from everyone. So yeah, I'm kind of in my nice guy era at the moment for sure.
Nah, nice. Well, this well, not last question, but the question I've got here next is a bit of a take from what happened with you and your brother. That went pretty famous. We thought we were going to see the fight of the century, but it got stopped pretty quickly. But so let's just say you guys are racing the Australian title. You're currently sitting second in the feature, right? Mitch is leading. He's just in front. You guys, last lap, last corner. Are you going to lick the stamp and send it, or are you going to let him have it? What would you do?
Oh. Obviously, I'd be doing everything to have a crack, but I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I honestly pulled something off and ruined both of us. It sounds very loserish, but apart from my own success, I honestly would I love seeing nothing more than Mitchell go well. Like I love the people I'm close with, people I love. I actually enjoy seeing them go well. So it's I honestly wouldn't be able to live myself. If I tried to throw a mad slide job on the dude and put him in the fence, and he'd probably never speak to me again, so I wouldn't have to really worry about it. But it's a you'd have to be in the moment sort of thing. I'd obviously be doing everything I can to try and win it, but wouldn't be able to live with myself if I ruined him winning an Australian championship.
You'd hold on for a family one too. Okay, no, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. You ask him, polar opposite. He would not give.
Yeah, I reckon.
He would not care about me whatsoever.
Or he'll tell you one thing and do another, I reckon.
He'd be sending it in that hard that he wouldn't care less if I tumble rolled down the back straight.
Well, I'd run with the theory that I'm not talented enough to sort of drive the car, so I'd probably just send it not knowing that it's going to happen.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I haven't actually thrown the slide job on anyone yet.
Haven't you?
No, I haven't. I got to a point that night, actually, as me and Mitch clipped, and the night where we ended up being a UFC poster. I was sitting there thinking, it was slick 3/4 of the way up the track. He was in front of me. We were probably similar speeds. If you look at the timing, I was actually quicker than him that night. But I thought this is probably the perfect time to attempt to throw one. If it goes pear shaped, suck it up, you're my brother. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm in my nice guy era. I'm probably a bit once it'll be like passing. I was scared to pass people because I thought obviously you go from bitumen to dirt. I look at dirt and think these guys are sliding across the track. So I'm thinking if I get under someone and slide, I'm feeding them. So, but then once you do it once or twice, it just becomes second nature. I get under people now, and I'm like, well, if you're not going to get out of the way, they do it to me. If I'm not going to get out of the way, they're going to hit me.
Yep.
So I'm thinking if I'm under them, they're probably thinking the same thing, hopefully. But yeah, I haven't actually tried to pull one of them off yet. So the day it happens, it'll be a party.
I hope there's a camera there. That'll be good.
It'd probably be a pretty cool feeling, I'd imagine. Yeah. Mitch always tells me, he said, pulling off a slide job is one of the best feelings you can have. It's just unreal. So one day
we'll hit that. Nice. All right, here's one for you. What would be one rule in the rule book you'd like to change and why?
I'm pretty happy with the rule book, honestly. Obviously, everyone runs by the same rule book. The one thing I do question sometimes, and I went to a Formula 500 meeting, and they had a caution, and no one went to the rear for it, and I found it kind of odd. I don't know if 500s and sedans run a different rule book to us, but the primary cause rule sometimes just doesn't really make sense to me. For example, Lang for the feature, that first lap. Trav Mitch went into turn one, and then Brad Warren tried to rip the top around the outside of him. Trav got a bit of a push, all flung up into Brad. He did his helicopter twirl. And me and Jake Warren, like 20 people in front of us, all just on the brakes. And we got tangled up and we got sent to the rear. And I'm thinking, well, like, that doesn't happen if the three blokes up the front don't.
Oh,
like we're all jumping on the brakes, trying not to T-bone blokes doing 360s, and it was no one's fault. It was a racing incident. But then we're getting sent to the rear, and I'm thinking, like, who's actually the primary cause here? Like, I understand that it probably come to a stop, but there's a bloke that did a 720 at the front of the pack. Like, were me and Plugger really the primary cause? So that's probably the one thing that doesn't really make sense to me. We went and watched our mate Beery, I think at Horsham or Paul, one night, me and Mitch, and they were running a pretty big meeting there, and they, on a restart, they had two blokes tangle up, spin out, went yellow, and we were sitting there and no one got sent rear for it. I'm like, well, I don't really get how that works. I always thought that someone had to pay the price. Like, if you just go yellow, but they both just got their spots back and they went again. I was like, okay.
Interesting. All right. So, no, well, I mean, I have never heard that one, but I do agree that is a very controversial rule.
Yeah,
people in the pits either like it or hate it, but yeah, that's a good one to raise.
Obviously, someone's got to pay the price, but I think sometimes it's not the right person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I think,
yeah,
like things around it going on and people are trying to avoid it, or you're gonna, like, someone's gonna get hurt, and you pay the price for it. But like I said, I'm in my nice guy era. I was like, probably gonna get passed by these 8 rocket ships behind me anyway. I might as well start behind them and watch them. So
no, that's good. All right, Ben. What's your number's 15? Is there any significance to that, or was that the only number you could get?
No significance to it, but our whole family speedway career, obviously, with our grandparents both racing, dad racing, our uncle racing, everyone's always had a number 5 in their racing number.
Right. Okay.
So obviously, growing up in Bitchman carts, Mitch was 25, I was 5. Our grandpa was 35, dad was 25. So I just kind of, like, it wasn't actually available. So shout out to Hayden Vickers. He's gone to a LS or 360 sprint car. So they were nice enough to give me his number 15 from Wingless. So yeah, I just wanted to keep a number 5 in it. But honestly, it's like everything. Like, I've never had number 15. Baseball's always been 21 or 43. Like, I've never, go-karts, I was always 5. So it's like, you just get used to it, I suppose. There's probably a lot of people that haven't got the number they wanted, and that you just embrace it, I suppose, and it becomes yours, I guess. So, but it is a pretty cool number. Like, Donny Schatz ran it, one of the best to ever do it. I'm pretty happy with that. So
yeah, can't go wrong there. No, it's also like an identity. You know what I mean? Like, you see the number. Like, you can rattle off numbers and you throw the state in front and whatever, and you just know who it is. Like, straight away, you just know who it is. So it's like identity. Now, I was curious about that. I was trying to work out, because I do know your family is very rich in racing, and I knew the story where the 35 came from because your father told me, but I wasn't sure about the 15. But now, as soon as you said the 5, I thought, okay,
it's all we could really get with a 5 in it. So I would have loved 5. I would have been more than happy with 21. We're obviously an avid Gary Brazier fan, our whole family. So would love a little number 21 or something. But yeah, obviously out of the numbers we could get, I was pretty content with 15. Dad played a bit of a prank on me, told me I couldn't get it for half a day, and then he goes, "No, mate, it's all good. We've actually got." So he's making me pick like number, I don't know, it was like mid-90s or mid-70s or something. I'm like, mate, like, I can deal with it, but I don't really want to rock a number up there.
He's good, He's good value.
And then a couple of hours later, he goes, "No, mate, it's all good. We got 15. I said, "Oh, thank God for that."
Hey, man, look, I really appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks for giving me the time. Before I let you go, the sponsors who help you up and down the highway, mate, give them a shout out, give them a plug.
Yeah, got a bit of a list happening, which is always pretty good considering first year being in Adelaide. Obviously, not many people up here, my friends or anything, are really into Speedway, so it's hard to go and approach them, and because they just don't understand the whole Speedway deal. So a lot of guys in obviously Mount Gambier, a lot of guys that sponsor Mitchell, obviously once they hear there's another car in the family, they're all happy to jump on board. But yeah, had my best mate, they own a landscaping company and lawn care company, Leroy's SA. So Jack and his old boy Leroy, they've come on board financially and with a major sponsor. Obviously, Mum at BP Gambier West, without her, and with diesel price at the moment, would be in a bit of a world of hurt without her. A couple of mates from Adelaide, F93 Cafe, Franny down there, he's come on board. We'll try to keep him on board. Obviously, moving back to Mount Gambier, won't be able to see him as much. And then another mate from school, NJ Taylor Carpentry. And we've got Max Meadows, Crash Repairs, MGS Towing, Camden Signage, Sorry, I just got a bit of a list here. I'm
No,
not
you're
getting
right.
away, but there's actually a hefty old list here. We are Andrew Bruin Sheet Metal, BKT Blast and Powder, Diverse Transport Fabrication, Emma down at EB Graphics. Mitch actually works with them now, so they've actually been really good. They've done hero cards. They do really good deals with custom suits. So if anyone needs a custom suit, it's actually a pretty good deal. They do the custom suits, all the fireproof wear, the boots, the bags, everything. They'll do the work. So it's actually a really good deal if anyone's getting into the sport and looking to get a deal like that. Team down at Burson Auto Parts, Mansell Motorsport, Dad's work at Barry Maney Group, the Ford dealership in the Mountain. Kidman Law have recently come on in the last month as well, coming on board with me and Mitch, helping us out a little bit, which will be huge for Mitch heading to Perth in a couple weeks. And obviously, yeah, I think the big title will probably be my last meeting for the year, but yeah, it'll be nice. And then we'll obviously head back to them and see if they're keen to come on board again for another year. So yeah, just a lot of guys coming on, obviously helping with the initial cost of the car. Like the chassis rocked up red, looked like Danny Smith's car. So we had that powder coated and sandblasted and all that stuff. We had to move seat railings around because I'm a big boy, obviously. So just small stuff like that, not so much financially, but obviously small stuff like that where just helping us out to reduce the initial cost of getting into the sport because it's not exactly a cheap hobby. So yeah, massive
No.
contributions across the board that we're very grateful for as a family and a small racing team.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and all the best for this weekend coming up to go down to Premier to contend for the Vic One.
Yes,
It's going to be a very good field. It looks like going to be a great weekend. So best of luck to you down there and to your family. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Now, have you got a racing page?
I do. Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. It's just Ryan Broome Racing. Don't expect anything serious from it because I'm at the point where I just absolutely take the mick out of myself because if you don't laugh, you'll cry sometimes. So just trying to be the funny guy because the actual success itself isn't there. So no, it is nice to do a few write-ups and obviously give the sponsors a shout out. Obviously going forwards, being down closer to the family and the setup, be nice to get a bit more involved with sponsors. Maybe having like every meeting we do can be supported by a sponsor or something like that to get them a bit more involved instead of just listing them at the bottom of a Facebook page. Also on TikTok, but don't go on that. That's just clicks. That's pretty boring. I'd love to get a bit more involved in that.
Oh boy.
Might run like a roaming Ryan segment in Perth or something. I'm going to be there for 2 weeks, bored as anything, so I might get a little.
I'm going to stay
hot
away from
mic
your
and a phone.
TikTok. I'm not going to TikTok. But what I'll do, I'll put down his racing page in the comments below. Mate, thanks very much for coming on. Best of luck this weekend at Vicky Titles. And yeah, everyone else, thanks for tuning in. There is the brother of Mitch, Ryan Broome. He's going to be the faster Broome out of him shortly. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, mate.